Hi there, welcome back, and in today's video we're going to use the majority of what you can see in front of you. It's a lot there. This beautiful metallic gold powder, mica powder, the lovely golden green there, this stunning mould. This is a lotus flower, it's from Panda Hall. Why not check out our previous Panda Hall video that we did. Lovely, lovely moulds there. Putting those two powders in, which are from a company called Ghoul, and we are also going to use some more, well, I'm showing you them actually, these lovely Arteza and Estoyo mica powders. Now, it was my intention to use those, but yeah, spoiler alert, I didn't actually use them in the end. This lovely ridged edge pot, it's a little pot, it's got a tiny little lid with it. And then we're going to use this mould. Now this looks a bit unusual. It's actually for a hydroponic vase. So it'll all become clear towards the end of this video. So stay tuned and I'll show you exactly what this is gonna make. So that's that mould. We've got some Vista pigments. Now we've got this beautiful jade green, which is quite dark, and a sage green and the polar white. Now, we didn't end up using the sage green. We did use the jade green. We're going to use some gold foil, and also we're going to use this oversized coaster mold. So making a start here, applying that beautiful green mica powder, just using a regular paintbrush here, just to pop it there inside the seed head part of the flower mould, the lotus flower mould. So there we are, just making sure we've got plenty of coverage all inside there. And as usual, turned it over, gave it a bit of a tap, 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 just to get rid of any excess. So then using that lovely gold metallic mica, which comes on, to be honest, more like a metallic powder than a mica powder. It's gorgeous. It came in a set with our Ghoul resin. So Ghoul is spelt G-H-G-U-O-L-E. There we go. So that's all dusted inside that mould. I'm just hoping at this point that it comes out just as nicely when we've poured the resin in and we do the demold. So for this lovely little ribbed pot, I'm turning it inside out because I'm going to dust it, all of it, with the gold mica. So this is being sped up. This is just me dusting it with that rich golden gold, not very good with adjectives there, powder all over this beautiful mould. I love this. I think I'm going to have to make some more of these in different colours. Definitely. Be nice to have a collection that's all sort of metallic gold, silver, copper, bronze, rose gold. Be stunning. Also would look fantastic just done in white and also grey resins. I think that would look rather lovely. Let's see if you could get a bit of a marbling sort of effect with the resin. So just continuing to make sure that every bit of the surface of this mould is covered with that lovely metallic mica powder. It was adhering quite well to this mould actually. I was quite surprised. You never can tell. This is first time using this mould. It's stunning. This mould, I believe, came from Temu. Don't forget, we will have coupon codes, links to descriptions and things in the description box saying everything that we used in this video, including discount codes, money off, and so on. Here we are. We're just doing the inside of the lid mould for that lovely little pot. Any excess I then tapped out onto the paper and then I popped it back into the little container of the mica powder. Don't forget, when you're using mica powder, do make sure that you are wearing a mask, as it is very fine and it will come up into the atmosphere. Now, moving on to this hydroponic vase mould. Going to use some of this fabulous gold leaf. Now, apply it the best way that you feel does it. I started doing this, applying it in using a paintbrush to smooth it down to the surface of the mould. Now, I've only ever used this mould once before and not very successfully, so I was a little bit concerned, but you know, we're going to give it a go. So in the end, I just decided to very carefully pick up this gold leaf. Now, the gold leaf came from the same place that the golden mica and jade green mica powder, or golden green mica powder, came from. So it came actually with some resin. We were very lucky. We're definitely going to be ordering some more of that resin as well. It's very, very good. There we go. So just making sure I've applied as much as I think is necessary. Again, very difficult for me not to overdo it, but there we go. So just applying it in and then just making sure that it's all adhered down to the mould, and just doing that by using a dry, unused paintbrush just to go over it, just to smooth it out onto the surface of the mould, which is what you can see me doing now. There we go. So that's it. That's what I'm happy with so far. Which I think looks stunning. Now, onto the oversized coaster mould. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to apply some gold leaf. There you go, just smoothing it down onto the surface of the mould. So it wasn't until a bit later on when I was doing this, I realised I'd got a bit of, it looks like shadowing or shading going on. I don't know quite what happened there. But it doesn't detract from the overall finished piece, so I'm not too concerned. You'll see what I mean shortly. So just trying to place down where I wanted it to go. We are. And then smoothing it down with the just regular paintbrush. Now, gold leaf will stick to anything and everything. Be warned. As you can see, I did try using gloves to do this as well, and it just stuck to the gloves. It was just ridiculous. As you can see, it's sticking to my fingernails there. It does come off easy enough though. You know, a little bit of soap and water, it will come off. So can you see there in the middle on the left hand side, it looks like we got a bit of, it almost looks like mica powder on it, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So I was happy with the amount of gold leaf. And so now it's time. What I've done there is I've put in, it's like a little round bung, and it fits in the top there. Now the reason for that is so that when you put your test tube shaped vase down, it's got a gap to go down through it. So I've made up some resin. It's a 1:1 mixing ratio. It's goulet resin. And just added some more of that mica powder. Now, with hindsight, I could have just stopped here, not added this white pigment to it, and gone ahead and poured it into the moulds that I was going to pour it into. Big part of me wishes I'd done that, but I was a little bit concerned that it wasn't going to be opaque enough and you'd be able to see through. So I was a little bit concerned about that. So I did this. Now, I do wish I hadn't have done it, but it does all work out in the end, is all I'm going to say. Completely lost all the gold, and we ended up with just this lovely, lovely warm sort of mink, sort of cream, sort of warm, creamy apricot-y colour, I suppose you'd call that. So here I have the dusted lotus flower mould, and I've just poured some down of the resin down into it, gave it a bit of squidge on the edges just to make sure there's no trapped air, and that it was all going down properly into the mould, and then just topping it up. There we are, another little squidge, and here's the lid. Now this is when voice of the future here, or editor voice here, saying, you really could have done with letting it be gold resin that you're pouring in here and not this colour. Because at this point, I didn't realise when I demold it, you'd be able to see that creamy, warm, creamy apricot-y colour. But never mind, all fixed in the end. So here we are with the pot part, the ridged edged pot, and we're just filling this up with resin as well. There we go, just slowly doing it, pouring it all the way up to the top. You can see I've also dusted the inside part of the mould. Now I did that on purpose. I wanted to make sure that it was all gold when you look inside, outside and inside the pot. Now just stopped there, filling it up, going around with a little stir stick, just making sure it's all thoroughly down inside the mould, so no air bubbles, and then just coming back and topping it back up all the way up to the top. Okay, and just finishing topping it up so it covers all of it. There we go. And there we are. So just scraped out all the last little bits of resin into the top, and I put those to one side, gave them some spritz with some alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, and then let them stand. Now I've got the jade green Vista pigment, and I've added some into the clear resin, another lot of clear resin. So I did make up quite a lot of clear resin, and then separated it out into smaller containers. And look at that lovely green, dark jade green. And then I've added some white Vista pigment. Excuse the state of the bottle, it's been used rather a lot. So adding in plenty of white into this much larger container of clear resin, and just mixing that up so it's nice and opaque and thick, so you can't see through it at all. Here is the oversized coaster. Now, what we're going to do is we're going for a very random pattern with the green. So this resin is quite thick. I opted not to try and pour it in from the container. I've opted to use a stir stick and just make the random pattern. I mean, you could go for circles if you wanted. You could go for lines. You could go for whatever kind of pattern you want, really. I mean, you could put this resin into a small bottle with a lid, and with the ones with the directional nozzle on the top, and you could make quite an intricate pattern of dots, circles, I mean lines, hash lines and so on. Completely up to you what you do. I just opted to go for a very random pattern here, and then carefully poured some white resin all over the top, filling up the mould. Now there we go, just filling it up to the top, and then I'll put that to one side, give it a bit of spritz with some isopropyl alcohol to get rid of any surface bubbles. You cannot go around the edge of this one, because I didn't anyway, because I had got obviously that random pattern with the other colours, and I didn't want them to mix too much. So just repeating the process that we did with the coaster, I'm repeating that now with the hydroponic vase mould. Good. Just popping the green in around the edges, and then now that I've got enough, I've decided, yep, I'm going to go in and do the same thing with the white resin, just carefully pouring it in around the edge of the mould and just filling it up to the top. Just up to the top. Make sure that you fill in all over and around where that silicone bung is. Now that is up towards the top of the screen in the middle. Just filling it up a bit more. As you can see, some of the green resin, the jade green resin, has bled into the white. That's absolutely fine to have that happen. So there we go, just making sure, pouring in the rest of the white all the way around there, and you just fill it up to the very top. There we go. Again, you cannot go round, because of the kind of pattern I've done. I realised that there was no way I could go around with a stir stick or even a micro brush and just make sure that there were no air bubbles caught anywhere. So that's the final bit. As you can see, some of the green has bled up around the top, which is okay. That's absolutely fine. You can swirl it in a bit if you want, but just go very gently with it if you're going to do that. So this is me just doing the final top up of resin. We're using the white. There we go. There we are. And then obviously put that to one side, give it a spritz with some isopropyl alcohol just to make sure it gets rid of any surface bubbles. So this is the following day. Now this is the oversized coaster. Now what I didn't tell you is I put a little bit of gold leaf in. So to be honest, I mean, this came away really lovely and nice. A few little bits I need to tidy up, like overlaps of things, which is absolutely fine. Now this is the right way. Or the underside. As you can see there's bits of gold mica. I don't think it detracts from the design. I think it's absolutely fine. But one thing with this, you could use it both ways. So you could use it this way or the other way, the underside. Totally up to you. But all in all, very pleased with the way that that's turned out. Now, here goes nothing. Demolding the vase part. So you can see the little bung there sticking up, this little silicone bun. Well, it looks like it's worked. It's coming away nice and easily from the mould. And then there we go. Fabulous. Right. So again, we've got a bit of tidying up to do here. We've got a bit of, excuse me, overlap of resin. But that really, I do like that. Wow, look at that. I do like that. It's almost like a marble sort of effect, but I love the bits of gold in it as well. So it sort of ties in. So now just to remove this little silicone bung, which creates a hole, nice neat hole, for you to put your test tube vase through. And then obviously in your vase you can put a single stem flower, which I'll show you at the end what we've done. We only had tulips to hand at the time, but you could put a stem of, you know, the bamboo, the lucky bamboo, which you can get, or you could do just dried flowers if you don't want to do real flowers. You could put that in too. So this is the idea. You have the coaster with the vase on top. So this is me just using a regular little pair of scissors that I purchased recently, just trimming up the edges whilst it's still a little bit soft but not tacky, and just go in with a smart pair of scissors and just to snip off those little overlap pieces. There we go. Fab. I thought that this would give the best edge to the finished piece. So this is the pot and the flower. Now, right, this is the lid, and look at that lovely warm glow that you can see there. And I thought, wow, so I thought that was the outer side of the lid. And that warm apricot colour would be the underside, so you wouldn't see it. So I thought. I won't make that mistake again. So anyway, but you will see what I mean. Here is the pot. There we go. Just pulling down the hand. Like an ordinary. Oh, wow. So twist and turn and then pull it out, and it's good. Look at the way that's come out. The detail on this pot. Sublime, beautiful, absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. And there we go. This is where I thought, oh, hang on, the lid doesn't fit. And it's at that point I realised, because it's supposed to go that way. Oh, but you know, I'm not going to let it go at that. I mean, it looks lovely with the lid. So this is the lotus flower. So just peeling back the mould here. Now these moulds are actually very easy to use. Sorry, it's slightly off camera there. But look at the sheen again of that metallic gold mica powder. I can't think of any words apart from stunning and beautiful, gorgeous, sublime. Wow, look at that. And the green in the centre there, really looking beautiful. Now this reminds me, I think it's called Capodimonte pottery, beautiful ceramic pottery from back in the day when I was much, much younger, that my mum used to have a collection of. Now, I had all intentions of putting the flower, the lovely lotus, golden lotus flower, on the lid, and I will be doing that. But obviously I need to make the lid gold as well. But here we go. Here's the end shot here. I hope you liked this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you if you're still with us here at the end. It was a rather lengthy video today, and that you'll agree with me that this pot is gorgeous. I love, love, love the oversized coaster and then the hydroponic vase. There you go. So you've got a single stem in it there. Thanks for watching, liking and sharing and subscribing, and we'll see you again on Wednesday with another video. Take care. Bye-bye.